Whew. All right, let's get started. All right, here we go. Hey, yo, what it is and what's good, y'all? Welcome back to 280 Plus, the social media podcast where I take the conversations off the timeline and go beyond the tweets, the posts, whatever you want to call it. I'm your host, Los Def, and I'm back here for episode 169 of the platform. And just do me a favor, please. If you're very new to the channel, I'd like you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, right? I'd like you to share the content, right? If you know anybody that's interested in what we kind of talking about, I want you to, if you want to join the conversation, leave a comment, right? You know what I mean? And then, like I said, give us a like, keep the algorithm going, keep us moving, right? We got a dope episode here for episode 169. We're gonna talk a little bit about some things that kind of pertain to the election, not necessarily getting into the nitty gritty politics, whatever, but I do have something to kind of share about what I've kind of seen as well. Maybe to kind of give you a broader view of what's kind of happening in the body politic, right? But also we have some things that have kind of gone down, some criminal things that have to do somewhat with the election. We got a brewing case featuring a very, 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 very popular producer. And where my message is, right, like, if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. However, it might be a witch hunt for all we know. It might be a witch hunt. We're going to talk a little bit about the future of 9-to-5 jobs, right? And what the CEO of LinkedIn thinks about 9-to-5 jobs. And then we're going to get into some stuff about some baby mamas, right? And one woman who went from wife to baby mama in just a course of maybe a year and a half or 2 years, and it's gonna be kind of surprising when we kind of reveal who we talking about here. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this episode. Like I said, it's episode 169. We are almost in the 170s. And like I said earlier, right, we are closely approaching the election, right? The election is just next week. So, make sure that you get out to the ballots and make sure that you cast your vote for whoever you want to vote for. And I know that we're seeing the antics are getting a little bit wild, right? The commercials are getting wilder and wilder. Like, I ain't gonna hold you, man. I'm starting to see some commercials that's like kind of racist a little bit. Yeah, I mean, or even not even just racist. I'm seeing even stuff that just seems bigoted, right? Like they're making some major claims. And the thing is, a lot of times they're focusing on very small things. They're focusing on things that get you to kind of react and jump, right? So, and I know y'all probably tired of this election cycle. Some of y'all are, and I know you're probably tired of seeing the same old people on social media, like the people, like, if you're on certain platforms, like you're on Twitter or Facebook, right? Since they're more like text based, like, I know you're starting to see opinions that are getting on your nerves. On Facebook, it's probably a little bit more localized, and you're starting to see people, the crazies, basically, in your community. And if it's on Instagram, you're probably just seeing a lot of like propaganda on both sides, right? On both sides are guilty of it. But if you want to take a gander and take a look at some talk about politics that seems to be a little bit more evened out, right? I have a suggestion for you. So I just saw a dope, really, really dope YouTube video, and it's actually two parts, and it is kind of long, like if you have the time, but this is something that I just kind of had in the background. I actually, I'm weird to probably y'all, but like I could listen to podcasts like working out, you know what I mean? I could watch YouTube, I could like listen to YouTube videos as I'm working out. Like, I don't always need music, right? And so if y'all familiar, are y'all familiar with the YouTube channel Jubilee? So Jubilee is probably one of my favorite channels in the last probably 6 months or so, right? So they just always got some like, and it's not always politics, but they always have some, and a lot of it does seem to be geared towards politics now. But what they often do is they have these like really intellectual debates um involving very controversial topics. So um and they have different kind of shows on there. So one of the shows they have is called Middle Ground, and what they'll do is they'll pit two people, pit two sides against each other, right? That are like far in extremes, and then the goal actually is, and that's kind of what I kind of talk about too on here. But the goal is to get to like some type of middle ground. Like, what can we agree on? Because at the end of the day, no matter who you vote for, whether you want Trump, whether you want Harris, uh somebody's going to lose, right? So either way, one side is going to have to live with the other side's politics, right? So and what one side is going to be hoping for, especially the losing side is going to be hoping for, is to find some type of middle ground to where we can have some very like logical, insane conclusions, right? So the episode I saw was, it was literally, it was Democrats versus Republicans. So what they did was they took 30 Democrats, 30 Republicans, and these are people that I've seen multiple times on this channel, but a lot of these people are like debaters, right? Some of these people are like, they call them TikTok debaters, some of them are professional debaters. And I just say that these are people that are, they at the very least, they seem to be a little bit more informed than the random guy that you might have known in fifth grade, and somehow you're friends with him on a social media platform, or the just the crazy bigoted stranger that you don't know, that is talking real heavy, on the keyboard, saying some hateful, bigoted things. These people are a little bit more, like I said, level-headed, but like it seems like everybody is coming in with their own like expertise on certain topics, right? So what they did was, yeah, they had 30 Democrats, 30 Republicans, and they would bring up a topic, right? They would bring up a topic, and then each side, you would see them kind of like vote who they thought was the best speaker for that topic. So they would figure out a system and how to do that, and then they would pit these two people against each other. And the thing is, like, obviously these people would express their sides, but then they would try to come to some type of middle ground statement. Now, some of the middle ground statements didn't really felt small, because it was like, all right, well, the middle ground is like the bare minimum of like maybe what we can agree to. Like, it might be something about immigration, right? And like the middle ground might be like, okay, we need more officers, we need more border control officers at the border, right? Like maybe both sides agree on that. But like that's like very minuscule when you talk about, when you hear all the topics that they're talking about. But it was a two-part episode, and then at the end, they do like some type of election, and basically, of those 60 people, who would be the president. So what I would say is, though, this one thing that was telling, because I saw the second part today, and this is where they did the election. And what I'm gonna just urge and say to you guys is that, like, for real, if you really, and this is not always the best way to vote, but if you really have like reservations against somebody, it does benefit you to vote, because what this showed was like there was 60 people altogether, but like there was like 12 people that voted undecided. So basically they might have voted for like a third party, and then there was like six people that abstained, so like they basically didn't vote at all. And obviously, I'm not gonna say what side won, but one side won over the other, and then you're probably thinking like, dang, like, yo, they could have really won if they would have had like two more votes or three more votes. And again, and when people say that, like, oh, yo, if you don't vote, it's a vote for the other party. Like, it is, like, and that's the thing, it goes for both sides. Like, whoever you want to win, whoever doesn't vote is essentially helping the side that you don't want to win. So check that out. So the channel is called Jubilee, and there's a lot of cool videos on there. I've even seen some videos. What led me into this episode was I seen it was like 30 Democrats versus Ben Shapiro. So Ben Shapiro is right wing, conservative media personality, and he's very intelligent. Like, and he's sharp. He's a fast talker though, and like, people was going at it with him, and I've seen those also too, like, and basically those episodes are called Surrounded, where they'll have like one person from one that represents one side, surrounded by like 20 people 30 people sometimes a differing opinion. And it just gets deep wherever because like everybody's like rushing to speak. But this Jubilee, what they do, they really do a good job of like having like an organized debate. And it's among like regular people. Like these are regular people. These are not politicians, right? These are people kind of sometimes spitting facts of what they kind of know or what they heard. Some people are talking, they're a little bit full of themselves and don't really know what they're talking about. Some people are like super informed. And then there's everything in the middle, right? So check that out if you are wondering. But like speaking of the election, we're gonna get into our first topic here. And then we're gonna get into our first two topics actually that have to do with the election. And this first one kind of is a good segue because we're talking about choosing a candidate, endorsing a candidate, right? Like who do you endorse, right? And so most of us can agree, right, that the media presence, right, when it comes to like talking about politics, right, we most of us would agree that we would rather or prefer to have less media bias, right, less media influence when it comes to politics. Now, there are certain platforms that we just know for a fact it's a conservative platform. We know for a fact it's a liberal platform. But then there's these other platforms in the middle where people debate often, like, oh, this paper is only talking about this paper is very liberal and they're only talking about it from this point of view. This paper is very right wing, and they're only covering this side. They're giving it that kind of slant. So one publication, right, has jumped out on the limb, right, and has decided they're not going to endorse anybody, and that platform is the Washington Post. So lo and behold, I did not know this. I was like today years old when I learned this. Jeff Bezos, right, Amazon, right, big Amazon, he owns the Washington Post, right? So and he supports the decision. So he doesn't, he owns it, but he don't, I don't think he has like a day-to-day like influence on what they do right or they don't right. But he just recently he agreed with their decision to not endorse a candidate. Now, what has happened is the Washington Post just lost 250,000 subscribers, right? Like just because of that. And I think they announced it like a couple days ago, maybe even last weekend. And just in that short amount of time, they lost 250,000 subscribers. And it says that represents about 10% of their digital platform audience, right? So, it makes people mad. So I think it's ironic because a lot of us would say like, oh yeah, the media needs to be, the news needs to be straight down the middle, right? It needs to align with my, with everything, right? Talk about the facts. But then you have people after this decision stepping away, and it just makes you feel like maybe that is not what people want. Like maybe there were certain ideologies that went to the Washington Post and was like, oh, they're gonna give Trump the nod, they're gonna give Harris the nod, and then it makes people feel like what you're not gonna support my candidate? You're not gonna support my candidate? So like, nah, you're not getting my business. So I think it's ironic there. Like I said, I do feel that more publications need to do that where they decide like, yo, no, we stepping back. We're not gonna endorse anybody. We know that endorsements go a long way though, and it does help certain candidates. But I think though, if everybody is kind of, at an even playing field and like none of the outlets, right? Especially the ones that we don't know for sure are conservative or liberal. If they kind of stay out of it, I think overall we get better news, we get better information. And people look at it for what it is as opposed to like automatically you have to read everything and you got to look like, there's a bias there. There's a bias. So uh, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? What do you think about the Washington Post? I think the LA Times also decided not to endorse somebody, and then they lost some subscribers too, but not as much. They didn't lose 250,000. So, but what do you think? Do you think that the media should be endorsing certain candidates? Do you think that it's okay for there to be a certain political bias, one way or the other, in the media? or do you feel like it should be straight neutral? Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. But speaking of elections as well, and this is where I said we're gonna talk about something that's kind of criminal that's happened. And so I don't know if y'all heard, man, yo, somebody in the Pacific Northwest, right? They are burning ballot boxes, right? These ballot mailboxes. So what they found recently, and like so there's been a couple burnings of ballots in Washington State, the state of Washington, and in Oregon. And authorities feel like these fires are actually related. Now, what they found was in one of the boxes that they blew up or they lit on fire, they said something, they had markings that said free Gaza. Now I don't know, like I mean, like I said, that part of politics, I'm not really, my foreign policy is not up to par. Like I do not know I don't really know what's happening in other parts of the world. Like I don't know, you know I don't know who that serves more, but like finding that it might make you feel like, oh, it was this part, it was somebody from this party that lit these ballots on fire versus this party. Now, my thing is this though. My thing is this, like, so mail-in balloting, right? That was something that was obviously, it became controversial in the last election because Trump lost, right? And people, it was COVID time, and people, more people were mailing in ballots and things like that. Now, it's funny because mail-in balloting has actually been around since like the 1800s, right? The late 1800s, mail-in balloting has been around, but with the last election, they made it seem like it was like this whole brand new thing. Like nobody was doing that before. Even though people were just doing it at higher numbers, they made it seem like it was like a made up thing and nobody did it before. And it was like suspicious. And, people obviously blamed that process or that option for one side losing over the other, right? Now, the thing is, my problem with this whole incident, right, is the fact that, like, okay, we want people to safely mail in ballots, right? And I think, I get the purpose of maybe having a box that says like mail in ballots or voter ballot box, right? Maybe the importance of that because maybe it's easily identifiable. It's pretty clear as to what the purpose is. But like, I feel like that's a target that just makes a big target to like compromise democracy. Like, so why not it just be, and I guess you do it that way because then it doesn't get lost in the regular mail. But like, why isn't aren't these official ballot boxes, like, if you're not just giving it to the mailman, why aren't these like inside buildings? Like, this should not be something that's like outside on the street, whatever, that says voter ballot box, right? Voter ballot box. And so in one of the fires that I seen, they said only like they have some type of like fire resistant type of materials in there, and only three ballots got damaged, right? And so like what they do is they try to recover the information that they see, and they mail new ballots to these voters. But then in one of the other fires, hundreds of ballots were burned. So I don't know, man. This seems fishy. This seems fishy. This seems like this is not the last time we're gonna see this type of stuff. And this is just gonna be one of those scapegoat excuses for one side to feel like, hey, look, they were cheating. They tried to burn our ballots and things like that. And it's funny because they say that mail-in balloting kind of benefits the Democratic Party a little bit more. Maybe more people do mail-in ballots. But like, if you have something that says free Gaza, I think free Gaza would basically be like pro-Palestine, which would be maybe more. I don't know. I don't know if Democrats necessarily are like super. I think both sides are trying to support Israel. So I don't know. I don't know who that benefits, but you're definitely going to see this is going to be a point of contention. This is going to be something that gets brought up again and again and again, and we're going to start seeing more and more fires, especially as this process like comes to a close, because I think mail-in balloting is actually over at this point. Like, I think you already had to have your stuff in, but um I'm sure that we're going to see some more cases in these instances, especially when they start to collect them. You might start seeing some sabotage, man, and that just doesn't bode well because I think this is going to be a really close election, either way that it goes. But it's unfortunate that you have people that are trying to mess with the process, right? Like, and this was something that just didn't exist, long time ago. Like all this destruction of mail-in ballots and stuff like that. So, what do you think, though? What do you think? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Do you think it's a good, do you feel like mail-in balloting is safe? And then should they create another measure for how to store and collect these ballots as opposed to just having a big old box that says votes right here, election votes right here, y'all, right here. Blow this up right here. That's what it looks like to me. So let me know in the comment section below. Let me know. Let me know. All right, we're gonna move on now. We're gonna move on. Get off of that election. Get off of that election now. We got a couple more topics here. And we're gonna share some videos. We're gonna share some videos. We're gonna get into that. And this next video that we're gonna share, that we're gonna talk about, has to do with the workplace, right? And has to do with I guess the job market and the future of jobs, right? So yeah, so let's think about this. So AI, we know that AI is like kind of taking over, and it's a major part of our lives. And a lot of people are feeling that, automation is here, and one, it's not going anywhere, but also it's gonna make, jobs more scarce, whatever. But like, check this video out. This is from our boys. This is from our boys from Earn Your Leisure. And they talked about something that the CEO of LinkedIn just said, right? So this is what he feels about 9 to 5 jobs in the next 10 years. All right, you'll see that says the LinkedIn co-founder says 9 to 5 jobs will be extinct by 2034. All right, so let's watch this here.
And co-founder says 9 to 5 jobs will be extinct by 2034.
I agree 1,000%. You think Microsoft and Google are buying these nuclear power plants to power AI so they can hire more people, or let the LLMs go crazy and autonomous agents go crazy? And I'm hearing that Zuckerberg and Elon are having conversations about how they can work together on autonomous vehicles. Meta's not coming out with one, but they're going to figure out what they can do together, which is not good for Apple. And truth be told, if, let's say hypothetically, I was a MAGA man, which I'm not, that ran a Fortune 500 company, and I want to skew away from wokeism and hiring blacks and Latinos. Now you can't say racism because the person that I hire is autonomous or is a character that's not even a human. But if it has enough human intelligence, I can skate around the racism by putting my money there. They're showing you, I'd rather buy a fucking nuclear power plant and build some aliens than pay off. When they saw in COVID, which they have been trying to do for a while, we now have a reason to not have people in the office full time. And this is the funny part. Even there are companies now who are saying, if you don't come in the office 5 days a week, we're going to fire you. They're going to use that as a reason to bring the agents in and AI in to replace the jobs and scale and lie and say people didn't want to come into work.
The LinkedIn co-founder says,
Oh, yeah, I think Ian always makes a lot of sense, man. I do like Ian's probably my favorite member of the Earn Your Leisure team. Always very informed and very knowledgeable. But like, yeah, like that's the thing, man. We talk about AI and we talk about automation when it comes to like manual labor jobs, but like there's a lot of AI tools out there that can replace people in offices, right? So and that's what he's saying. So all these people that are getting rid of DEI, right? So they don't even necessarily have to do that anymore. And these companies, if they keep making money and they keep making money hand over fist, they're gonna find ways to cut corners. And what they're gonna do is it is gonna start with people. It's gonna start with the labor force, and they're gonna figure out ways to program whatever AI agents and things like that to do all the work that we have. And again, they don't even have to, they can avoid all the stigma that goes against them when it comes to like, DEI and affirmative action, which, hardly, that's kind of, it feels like that's going extinct after that college decision a year or two ago. And so yeah, it's a strategic thing, and it's crazy because I just was talking, he just mentioned Elon, right? And I just was talking about Elon last week. And yo, I did not know there was that many Elon Glazers, right? So yeah, I'm gonna use a young boy word. These people was dicky and hard on Elon Musk. And I was like, bruh, I was like, yo, like he has done nothing for y'all. And people was just like, oh, he's a genius and he's rich and he built this company. And what do you do? You're a clown. And they call me a clown because I'm criticizing Elon Musk. But I'm like, yo, Elon Musk would, like, if he could run Tesla by himself with his just robots and then AI imaginary agents, he would. So he's not for America. He's not for people, right? He's for himself. So like, yes, he would figure out a way to basically destroy his whole workforce or his own employment force if it can make him more money. And like, so all these people talking about how he's a genius and things like that. What does that have to do with anything? Especially when you're this rich billionaire and now you trying to infiltrate and insert yourself into American politics, and people are not smart enough to know what your ulterior intentions are. But like, I can see it, man. Like, you are here to divide. You're like, you ain't here to unite nobody. You're here to divide. You went against DEI and things like that, and whatever that is, right? Like, whatever, you could feel however you want to feel about that. But like, Elon Musk has multiple lawsuits, right? Where people of color, black people, Hispanic people have sued him because of workplace treatment in his in Tesla. So miss me with all that type of stuff where he's a genius and you're a clown for criticizing him. No, we're gonna criticize, like I'm not saying all, obviously to be a billionaire, you probably do gotta step on some people to get to the top. But there are some billionaires that are that seem to be a little bit more altruistic, or at the very least, they stay out of it. They stay out of it. I'd rather a billionaire just stay out of it than to give away money so people could vote and to influence our politics in a negative way, right? Or in a non-genuine way. Like, you want people to vote so they can put the guy in office that's your best friend, that's gonna probably give you all the biggest tax breaks. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's great. No, it's not. It's not. It's BS. It's BS. So yeah, man, 9 to 5 jobs going extinct by 2034. I think there is going to be, although advancements in technology happen so quickly and so expansively, I think there is going to be a need and want for human people, because AI does miss, right? And we don't. I think we need to stop. We need to stop teaching it so much. I think we need to kind of scale back a little bit. I think there is some practical uses for AI, but like, we don't want to lose the essence of who we are, right? We don't want to lose that. So we gotta be careful. We gotta be careful. But I think we will still have 9 to 5 jobs, but they're just gonna look a little bit different. They're gonna look a little bit different. All right, let's move on, man. Let's move on. Okay. Oh my God. I got another video to share from Instagram, right? I got another video to share. And now here we're gonna talk about some baby mama drama, right? And we're gonna talk about just the psyche and the what people are thinking when they get into situations like this, right? So this is something that happen. We see this happen more and more in sports, but also just in the entertainment industry. One thing that we see is that, like, yo, brothers be like passing the shorties off to each other, man. They be really like baby mom swapping, they be girlfriend swapping, and not maybe intentionally, but like, why y'all messing with the same dozens of girls? You know what I mean, dozens of women, hundreds of women, right? Like, there's millions of women out there, but y'all messing with the same few, right? So let's take a look at this, man. Yeah, let me hit that share. Let me hit that share button. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Let's check this out.
Brandon Ingram hit the game-winning shot versus the Portland Trailblazers. And the player that he hit the shot over is Anthony Simmons. And you want to know what these two have in common? These two have a baby by the same damn woman. I mean, you want to talk about things coming full circle. And I'm here to tell you right now, if things keep going this way, this is the future of the damn NBA. And I reported on this a while back when it happened because it was mind-boggling to me how these players reproduce with a woman who has been around the block. It's okay if you heard that she got some fire, she got this or that, and you want to test it out. But to lay down and not pull out and reproduce with it, that's a terrible look. Okay? And when you get that type of money that these young men are making, I'm sure that they have hella options. So why reproduce and give a woman a retirement plan and you know damn well you're not gonna be with her for the rest of your life? And I'm here to tell you, young men, if I can just save one of you guys that are about to go to the NBA, about to go to the NFL, or about to get a big bag, when you up in it and she whispering in your ear, oh, it's yours, it's nobody else's, it's yours, please don't believe her, because it's not yours, it's only your damn turn. And I do not want you to fall victim for the, I'm allergic to condoms, I can't do latex, just take it off, just be safe. Don't fall for that, fellas. We can't keep this going. Get somebody who has not been around the damn block. Brandon Ingram.
Shout out to D Rich TV for that, man. That was dope. That was dope. And yeah, definitely I agree with his sentiment all the way. It does blow for the regular person, right? The regular content creator like myself, it does blow my mind when I do see these athletes and these celebrities and they mess with the same woman, right? How many celebrity men does Drea have, right? Or has had, right? Like think about all the athletes that she's had, but she's one of she's one of many. She's one of many. And Brittany Renner is another one. Like those are the two most popular ones, but there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them. So like if I'm trying to unpack this, like why are they messing with the same women? Like, so one reason I would think that they're messing with the same women is because the women that they're choosing that have already been with somebody, maybe they feel there's a comfort there, right? And they feel like, well, this woman already knows what it's like. They already know the expectations. They already know the rigors and the stresses of what it's like to be a spouse of a celebrity. So like this woman is gonna kind of move how she moves, right? Like she's gonna know the program. She might know to look the other way when you are, traveling city to city and you on like a 3 or 5 day leg where you're not coming home for 3 to 4 games, right? And she ain't gonna ask you no questions, right? I seen some other videos that talked about, like Lou Williams was talking about how hard it is to be married, and to be an athlete. And basically he was just saying how like, yeah, like you might be providing them with all this stuff, whatever, but like you ain't there for them. And that's why that's why these women be cheating, that's why they be having side dudes and stuff like that. And they gets messy. It gets messy. So like I said, one reason might be because they just know that these women like kind of just have a lay of the land, right? And they know what to expect. Another reason is the women themselves, like they're already in the space, so they know how to navigate. Like women, with regular women, get excited and they get happy if they do get a chance to be around like athletes and celebrities and stuff like that. I have a friend, a female friend, who she lived in Philadelphia, and like, yeah, she did kind of rub some shoulders with some athletes, right? And she made it seem like they was friends. I wasn't really interested in learning anything about it because I didn't want to like judge her possibly, but also I just was like, like I didn't want to fan out because it's really none of my business. Now her female friends probably in some ways fanned out or like was like amazed by it. I just was like, I was just kind of steering on the edge of caution because I'm like, I hope she ain't getting ran through. You know what I mean, by these guys like, oh, this dude's a friend, or oh, I know him, and this and that. And to me, I ain't gonna lie, like for the regular guy, it's a turnoff. Like now, this is just a friend of mine, so I was not checking for her at all. But it is a turnoff when you hear women talk about and be so Joe and excited about celebrities and stuff like that. But like, so the second reason might be because the women themselves, they just know how to be in those spaces. Like they know where to go, they know and like maybe they don't tell all the bitches. You know what I'm saying? They don't tell all their friends. They kind of keep it, it's like a secret society. All we ask is trust, right? Um, I'm trying to think, what else could be another reason? Well, another reason why it could just maybe just guys just feel that it's safer, like it's safer, right? So I'm gonna use this analogy, right? So I'm from a smaller city, right? So I ain't gonna hold you, like come from a place. It's not super small to where like you can't, like you definitely gonna mess with somebody that your friends mess with, whatever. But like when you deal with a woman that's in a smaller city, you can trace you could trace the degrees of separation. You could trace who she's been with, and like that might influence who you talk to. And the same goes for women, right? Like if a woman is dating a guy in a smaller city, she might get tired of the guys overall because maybe most of them act the same. But like she's able to kind of you're able to check the Carfax report, right? When you're dealing with people in a smaller circle, right? And we could use a small city as an example, small city versus big city, regular person versus celebrity, right? So like celebrities, even though like they make all this money, they're in a small circle of people. So like it's easier to kind of trace back and you're able to say, okay, I know this person. Now, I'm more inclined, right, to mess with a woman that like is from like locally as opposed to somebody that might be from a big city because that woman from the big city, she could have been with everybody. She could have been with the whole world and I wouldn't know, right? And you're able to kind of when you're messing with people that's from a larger pool of people, if you're dating amongst a large pool of people, like the people that you're meeting can be a chameleon. They could be anybody that they want to be. They don't necessarily have to, they can make up their past because you would have no one at all to verify what is real, what's not real, what's true, what's not true. So maybe athletes feel like it's safer because it's like, oh, all right, yo, yeah, shorty, she messed with Brandon Ingram, and then before that she messed with Bull while he was in college, and then and maybe they feel it's safer. I don't know. I don't know, but like I can see the analogy, and I can see it in certain ways. However, it's still we're still talking about messing with like still hundreds or dozens and dozens and dozens of women versus like I just feel like it'd be like the same five women. It'd be seeming like um if you think about all the athletes in all the major sports, we might only be talking about a total of like 5,000 people. Yeah, I'm saying like it is probably the population of like us. But like, when I say I lived in a small city, it was still in the tens of thousands, right? It's still, but like there's if we collected all the players in all the professional leagues, it's less than 10,000 people. So yeah, that's a really small little podunk town. So maybe there is something there. Maybe there's something there. But yeah, man, like hitting the game winner over your baby mom's other baby dad, that just seems ghetto. It seems messy. Uh, you know, I think I ain't gonna lie. If I was an athlete though, I would want a shorty that like ain't nobody had. Ain't don't nobody know. I mean, it might take a little bit longer for me to vet her out and like for me to know for sure she's the one for me. But like, because yeah, you don't run into a gold digger, but like I definitely don't want no woman that has been around the block, has been around the athletes, right? And also don't want to. I don't want to. I just don't want to have a baby mom. Like if I'm gonna be a rich famous athlete, I don't want a baby mom. You know what I mean? Because we all know, man. Some of these guys are setting these women up for life when it comes to the end of these relationships and child support and things like that. And I'm just not. I'm all for men taking care of the kids, but I ain't for men necessarily being a meal ticket. So let's move on. Let's move on. Speaking of athletes, speaking of baby mamas, right? This is in a different world, but it's still all related. It's still all related, right? So did y'all hear? Did y'all see that Gisele Bundchen, right? Bundchen just turned into a baby mama, the Bundchen baby mama, right? So Gisele, we know Gisele, you know what I'm saying? Tom Brady's ex-wife now. And they've been divorced since October, basically a year ago, they divorced, right? October of 2023. And Gisele is pregnant. Who's she pregnant to? That jujitsu instructor that Tom Brady put her on to, the jujitsu instructor that we clowned Tom Brady for in the Tom Brady roast. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, the Tom Brady roast was just earlier this year, earlier in 2024. And yo, like it's crazy. Like in less than a year, his wife gets seated by the bull. Like, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And like it's crazy because Gisele is, she's her worth is more than Tom Brady's. Like she's making more money than Tom Brady. And like to be married to Tom Brady and to have that as your husband, and ain't nothing wrong with, getting your swerve on, whatever. But like you sleeping with the help, so to speak, right? So your judicial instructor, yeah, I mean, now he has the meal ticket, whatever. So like she seems to be happy, but says Gisele Bundchen is pregnant with baby number 3, her first with boyfriend Joaquim Valenti. So she's 44, he's 37. So like it's not like that big of an age difference. But yeah, it was made official that she's expecting. It says Gisele and Joaquim are happy for this new chapter in their life, and they're looking forward to creating a peaceful and loving environment for the whole family. The source tells people in a statement. It says, Bundchen has been doing, oh, Bundchen has been dating the jujitsu instructor since June of 2023. Their baby will join Bundchen's son, Benjamin Rain, and daughter, Vivian Lake. And her kids are 14 and 11. And obviously she shares those kids with Tom Brady. And, they got their, it's kind of crazy because their divorce and their breakup, it just happened. It all just happened so fast. So fast. It says in June 2024, a source told people that the supermodel has blossomed since her split from Brady. She is secure and happy and so busy with her life that she doesn't have time to dwell on the negatives out there, the source tells us. It says in February, another source told people they have been dating since June. They're taking it slow. They started out as great friends first. She's very private about this and wanted to keep it quiet while they get to know each other. So, like, yeah, what I mean? Like I said, so they divorced. Okay, no, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, Tom Brady and Gisele divorced. So in October of 2022, and they were married for 13 years. And then they share custody. Um, Brady is a little bit older than Gisele. He's like 3 years older than Gisele. He's 10 years older than the guy. So it's not even like, like I said, it's not a crazy, weird age difference or anything like that. I just think the status, like the socioeconomic status and the difference is just it's kind of alarming, and it's kind of like it raises an eyebrow a little bit because you're like, dang girl, like what made you go that route? Like what made you got seated to this man, right? So like hopefully she got her stuff in place, whatever. But like I don't think that Gisele would imagine herself as a baby mom. Now, for all we know, they might be planning to get married because when we talk about like higher society and things like that, people of a different wealth and tax bracket, they believe more in marriage, and like they don't want to have like babies out of wedlock. But yeah, as of right now, she's a baby mama. She went from Brady's wife to the jujitsu baby mama. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see how that plays out. I wonder how Tom is feeling, man. I think maybe Tom already knew. I wonder if Tom first learned, if he first learned through like the media, right? Like do you tell, like when do you like if all right, so how about this scenario, like, and just as a question, So if you move on from somebody that you've been with for a long time, like an ex-wife or even a girlfriend, like maybe it was a long-time girlfriend, if you have a kid to another woman, right? Like and you already have kids to this your wife, your ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, you already have kids to her. At what point do you announce or tell your now baby mama that you expecting the kid? I mean, I'm watching the show right now, man, Reasonable Doubt, man, and the bull and the main character, her husband, man, he had a break baby, man. He had a baby, or he got this chick pregnant while they was on a break, and like just him having to tell her, he was pretty upfront, but like shit hit the fan, and like his wife already did the investigating, and she already kind of found out, but he was about to tell her for real. But like just the way he's having to navigate that. Now, this is somebody that he's with. But like I always still wonder, like, because I even think about, my baby mom, like what would it like if she, in the time that we haven't been together, like if she would have had a baby or if I would have had a baby, what that conversation would have been like. I don't know. I don't know how to deal with that. But this is like I said, this just seems a little bit different and wild because the wealth is there. Right. All right, let's move on though. Let's move on, man. Let's stop talking about the Bundchen baby mama, man. And this is our last topic, man. This is the last thing we're gonna talk about. I'm pretty sure, yeah. It's the last thing, at least on my yeah. All right. All right now. Those who live in a glass house should not throw stones. Now, again, this might be one of those things where it's a witch hunt. Maybe it's a cash grab. But have you heard about super producer Metro Boomin? Metro Boomin, man, has caught a case, man. Caught a lawsuit. Well, a lawsuit. He caught a lawsuit, but the accusation is wild, right? So here it says hip hop producer Metro Boomin is accused of we gonna call it sexual assault. They use the R word. I don't want to use that on here. So it says a Los Angeles woman has filed a lawsuit alleging that Metro Boomin, a Grammy-nominated producer who has worked with some of the biggest names in hip hop and R&B, sexually assaulted her in 2016, and she became pregnant from the attack. The producer's attorneys calls the accusations false and said the lawsuit filed Tuesday in Los Angeles Superior Court is a pure shakedown. Vanessa Lamestre, age 38, so this ain't no young woman. This is a grown-ass woman here, says in the lawsuit that she became friends with Metro Boomin, whose legal name is Lil Wayne. He a fucking lame, right? That's what Drake let us know what Metro Boomin's real name was. Lil Wayne, right? After the death of her 9-month-old son. So she met this guy after her 9-month-old son died, right? Says while visiting him in a recording studio months later, she blacked out and woke on a bed to find Wayne assaulting her, the lawsuit alleges. She learned she was pregnant from the attack a few weeks later, the suit says. So I mean, this sounds like a civil suit. This don't sound like a criminal suit at the moment. That's why the lawyer says shakedown. But like, did she have a kid to Leland Wayne, aka Metro Boomin, and like so he got this like SA baby out there? Like, is that the thing? Whatever. Okay. Says an attorney for the 31-year-old St. Louis born producer immediately denied allegations. This is a pure shakedown. These are false accusations. Lawrence Hinkle said in a statement, Mr. Wayne refused to pay her months ago, and he refuses to pay her now. Mr. Wayne will defend himself in court. He will file a claim for malicious prosecution once he prevails. And then here it talks about just like the things that Metro Boomin has done. It says Lemestre said in the suit that she met Wayne in the spring of 2016 at a party in Las Vegas, and in the months that followed, they met up several times, and she believed that they had bonded over the ability of music to help people in their darkest moments. Because remember, she met him after her kid died. Around September, she visited him at a California recording studio where she was given a shot of alcohol and took a half a bar of Xanax. That's pretty vivid. It's pretty precise. The next thing Miss Lemestre can recall is waking up on a bed in a different location with Wayne doing his thing, right, to her and being completely unable to move or make a sound. So that sounds like that Diddy oil right there. Maybe he had that Diddy oil. It's not funny, but like, you know what I mean? The lawsuit says she was in and out of consciousness for an unknown amount of time, but awoke again at some point to Wayne performing oral sex on her. Okay, that's wild. She learned she was pregnant a few weeks later, and there was no question that the child was Wayne's, the suit says. Oh no, she had an abortion soon after. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, if she wasn't in California, she wouldn't be able to get that because you know how the laws are. The Associated Press does not typically name people who have been sexually abused unless they come forward publicly, as Lemestre has. She is named in the lawsuit and consented to being publicly identified through her attorneys. Her lawsuit alleging sexual battery and gender violence seeks damages to be determined at trial. So here's the thing. I ain't gonna hold you, man. It don't look too good just because a lot of times we have these anonymous victims, and that's one of the biggest criticisms that the general public has. The general public has an issue with that because we be feeling like, well, who is it? Are you hiding? You hiding? Whatever. This woman is out there willing to put herself at the very least. I mean, maybe she don't got nothing to lose, but she's willing to put herself out there on Front Street to to get some to get justice, but also to get some respect on her name. And she not hiding, man. Her whole name is out there. She telling everything. You know what I mean? We live in a wild time, man. We live in a wild time, so where we can't say like, oh, she should have said something years ago, things like that. Um, Trying to get money from him on the low though, that's where it could be questionable. But like, who knows? I thought that he had like a kid running around. I just think it's wild though because again, Metro Boomin, although he was a part of the Drake and Kendrick beef. I just feel like I ain't going that route with somebody. Now, granted, he wasn't the one that was saying the all the pedophile stuff, even though he has some, he contributed to some of that. I just feel like I ain't getting in no beef if I might have some like dark. I'm not getting into no public verbal beef with somebody and all that if I might have my own skeletons, whatever. So like, but here's the thing that makes it like if he is guilty, just say he really did do these things. Um, doesn't that make Kendrick Lamar kind of a hypocrite because you saying stuff that's not even true, right? You saying stuff that's not even true about Drake, and you calling him all these type of names, but then you working with a producer that may or may not have done some irreparable damage to another woman. So what do y'all think? What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Do I have anything else? I don't think I have anything else that I need to talk about. Yeah, I talked about that. Gisele. Yeah, man, it's the World Series right now. Just to wrap this up, we're about to go. But it's the World Series right now, and as of this recording, the Yankees are down 3-1. And this is what I'm gonna say though. This is what I'm gonna say. So shout out to the Yankees for making it, but the Yankees they just don't do like I don't know, man. They just don't do that well in the playoffs. Like they be having great teams, but like they can't get it done. My thing is this though, like for an event that calls itself the World Series, they really don't want nobody to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be a diehard baseball fan to even know when the games are happening. And my thing is this, I get it because there's just the way that baseball works. Um, if you're having a World Series, right? You cannot play games on back-to-back days. Like you need to give people some time to recover and see when the next game is. But like they did games 1 and 2, like Friday, like a Friday and a Saturday, and then 3 and 4 was like Monday and Tuesday. And like I see the days in between, there's a little bit of rest there. Really, no, 1 or 2 days of rest. But like, why not spread it out a little bit? You know what I mean? Like, make it an event, right? Make it to where like people have to like tune into their TVs to watch this, like, and they make it a point to do that. I think part of the reason they do it is because like baseball, the way baseball works, guys are on rotations, like the pitching rotation, so they have certain days every however many days they pitch. I don't know if like, you know, resting longer makes you worse or not, but I feel like it would aid the players a little bit if they got a little bit of rest, like even a little bit of extra rest. I know some people criticize basketball because they say like there's way too many days in between, but like I don't know. I think baseball, this is the thing with baseball too. I think they only play 162 games still because I think they're trying to justify the effort that they put in, right? And I just think that 162 games makes for a bad sports product. I mean, you got teams that aren't can't stay healthy. Teams are pretty much depleted by the time they hit the postseason. But I think it's because like if you ever play baseball, the skill that's required to be good in baseball is high. Like you need to have a lot of skill to be excellent in baseball. But if we're being honest, the energy that you exert while you're playing baseball is minimal compared to basketball, football, hockey, right? Sports where like football is like a lot of like every time, every play, even though you get breaks in between plays, every play is fast bursts. Basketball, you got to constantly run. Hockey, you're constantly skating. Soccer, you're constantly running, right? Baseball, you really do get some breaks, man. And like the only time you're running is when you're running bases or fielding the ball. But it's not the same. It's not the same. So I think they play 162 games to justify, like, hey, we're tough. Yeah, I mean, we do work hard out here. Y'all do. But like, please make the World Series like, come on, man, build it up. It's great. We got the perfect World Series. We got New York versus LA, New York Yankees versus the LA Dodgers, and I just feel like it's kind of quiet, man. It's kind of quiet, and maybe that's just the nature of baseball. But what do you think about this week's episode, man? I talked about baby mamas, right? Guys sharing baby mamas. Brady included. We talked a little bit about the election. We talked about 9-to-5 jobs. What do you think, man? What do you think about this week's episode, man? Leave a comment below. If you're still watching, I need you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the content, leave a comment. You know what I mean? This is episode 169 of the 280 Plus podcast. I'm your host, Lowe's Death, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.